Hello, in this section we will look at adjusting entries, financial statements, closing entries, and reversing entries in both QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop. The adjusting process is something we're going to have to do at the end of the accounting cycle. So the accounting department and the accounting process will spend most of the time entering the data into the system. There's going to be some things, however, that need to be adjusted to make sure that they're more properly on an accrual basis. The adjusting entries are used to do that. If we understand the adjusting entries, we get a much better understanding of what an accrual basis is, why to use it, and how better to read then the financial statements. Once the adjusting entries have been done, we then want to create the financial statements or run the reports for the financial statements and then interpret what the reports are meaning. We can compare and contrast as well at this point if we're working through the problem, whether or not we have the same numbers and how to go through those numbers and make any adjustments and see where any errors have happened if we're working through the system together at this point. Then we'll look at the closing entries or the closing process within QuickBooks and see how QuickBooks runs the closing process, what the closing process means, and how to look through it and read reports given the closing process within the two accounting systems. Then we'll consider reversing entries, which is a format to help separate the accounting process, the normal accounting process, from the adjusting process. So in other words, when we make these adjusting journal entries in order to make the financial statements correct as of the end of the time period, the end of the month or year, we could have a system that messes up the normal process of the normal accounting system. And in order for us to put in a process that separates those two, allows the accounting data input to run in a normal system without having to make changes because of adjusting entries, we could then use these reversing entries. So we'll talk about the pros and cons of reversing entries, what types of adjustments would need to be reversed, and how to enter those reversing entries into QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop.